Hello, folks. You can say that what I'm about to do here, is a Bugsy mini corner. And we were gonna do the video with Aqueous, but Aqueous is he's doing something. I don't know what is he doing, but he's doing something, and I just didn't want to disturb him. Well, with that being said, I feel like I need to talk to you guys about certain things when it comes to Sonic. And I know I said the Sonic content is done, but I really feel like there's a part of Sonic that none of you seem to get. And I just want to talk about it, and I just want some of you to. I'm gonna be running the hell out of this video so you all can see it. People say like, "Oh, Sonic doesn't need to be dark," but to that I say, look at the comics. It's a thing where it can do dark stuff right. People say no one plays Sonic for like its dark storyline. Well, some of us want a dark storyline, and I'm not talking like manufactured dark. What I mean when I say manufactured dark, I mean a thing that tries to squeeze darkness out of a certain situation that may not be dark enough to be a dark situation. The best example of this is Power Slash Rangers. Oh, my cousin swears by this stuff. I swear. I'm just sitting there saying I don't like it, and then my cousin's like, "Why did you like it? Why don't you like it?" I'm like, I don't like it. After I went on this big old tirade on YouTube prior when I was talking about Power Slash Rangers and how I don't really like it, I just didn't feel like explaining it to my cousin. He's like, "Well, you would explain what?" I'm like, "Watch my videos." But it's like, the thing is, Power Slash Rangers to me is like manufactured dark. The actual Power Rangers movie that came out was actually dark. It actually had stakes. You can't make a dark situation, a dire or dark situation without stakes being involved in some way. You can't necessarily do that. That's the one thing I hate about like Riverdale, because I feel like they're just trying to force out the darkness. Like, we're dark, we're edgy. We're dark and edgy versions of the Archie cast. We're just trying to be dark and edgy for the sake of being dark and edgy. It doesn't matter that we're trying to tell like a murder mystery story that's been done to death, that's been done on other shows, and this is just basically Pretty Little Liars with a freaking Archie skin. Yeah, manufactured darkness. Think about the Sonic comics in SATM. There were dark moments. There were people being roboticized. There were, Eggman constantly trying to rule the world. Eggman like pretty much close to ruling the world. And the Freedom Fighters, Sonic. And I think that's why they beat up Sonic early on in the game. Because back in the day, Sonic never really lost. You guys can say, no, Bugsy, Sonic didn't lose, really. He came back. Nah, he lost. Initially, he lost. And even when he was fighting Infinite the second time, he lost. That has never happened to Sonic in the game's history. In SATM and in the comics, he's lost a few times. Can we talk about Sonic's Uncle Chuck and how he tried to bring Uncle Chuck back for a split moment, and then, his programming basically had him revert back, and even when they tried to do it again, it didn't really work, and he ended up sabotaging everything because his programming was way too strong. He broke through it. He broke through the programming a little bit later on. But those were consistent losses that Sonic had. Like, they were even trying to go back in time to basically stop Robotnik. That didn't work. There were a lot of times in the SATM and in the Archie comics where Sonic lost. Sonic wasn't always the winner. I know some of you don't understand that because all you know is the games, and I'm not trying I'm not trying to say read the comics and watch SAM to understand. I'm just giving you a brief overview so you can understand that some people actually didn't want it. And from the last time I looked, we're kind of in the like the percentage of SAM fans is more higher is a little bit more higher than it has been in recent years. Not saying we outnumber you, I'm saying we're kind of in the same parameters. Because we're all Sonic fans, but when it comes to like RG Comics and SAM fans, we're kind of in the real big numbers here. We're kind of in the same kind of boat as you. I feel like this game was truly trying to be made for us SAM fans, really, because we've been wanting this for a long time. Again, look up any petition online that wants a SAM game. There is a lot of petitions and a lot of people sign it because they believe that this could happen. See, dark stories in Sonic can work. I feel like Sega's trying to do what they thought we all wanted, and for the most part, it kind of succeeded. But I feel like they can go a little bit deeper. Not so deep as it just becomes this fucking just depressing mess, but deep enough where, yes, even in the most dire and hopeless situations, you can still try to fight. You can still try to fight back. That was always the comics and Saiyan's moniker. The fact that even if a situation is truly motherfucking hopeless and there's nothing you can do, you can still try and fight against it, no matter what it is. That's what it was. And I feel like that's what Sonic Forces was trying to go for, but they couldn't. It's like they were going to do the whole thing where Sonic got tortured, but like through halfway in, they just couldn't really go through with it, like all the way. So we get kind of a a subtle angry Sonic, which I think is okay. But you know, when I do my time story, I'm going to go in a little deeper than that. You know. So you guys are probably wondering to yourselves, well, Bugsy, what, why did we, you know, if the Archie comics were so dark, why did I never hear of them? Because you know, you probably weren't interested in reading the comics. Because even Linkara said like he wasn't really interested in the comics, so he really didn't care about a lot of stuff. You know, and it could be the same with you guys. Y'all just didn't really give the comics a chance the first time around. And you know, I've been reading the comics, and shit gets dark. I was reading the earlier comics when they were shifting from being less goofy and a lot more serious, and shit gets dark. Hell, Mina Mongoose gets shot. Shot, folks. They did not stray from that. They didn't stray from that at all. Like Mina got shot. Shot by Thang, actually. Yeah, because in the actual comic, he doesn't have no cork gun. He has a real 9mm fucking handgun. He has a Magnum. I think I just made that up. And I didn't win the news with guns, but I think I confused things. But anyways, yeah. And yeah, a lot of people say like, oh well, the Archie comics are nothing but a furry soap opera. See, but the thing is, other soap operas, you actually care about these characters. You actually want to see where it goes. You actually want to see what they do. Like they can put romance in Sonic Forces because you know I don't think Sonic Team would really like to do the whole romance thing because, you know, the only thing that's closer to Sonic is Amy, and I don't think they want to do that. And they tried to add romance in freaking Sonic 06, but oh my god, that was horrible. That was bad. It was unfinished. Guys, I've seen. I played a lot of bad Sonic games in my day, but I feel like Sonic Forces was the one that was really trying to be good, trying to be everything we all wanted it to be, and for me, it delivered. But for most of you, it didn't, and I can understand why. Even though I may like something, I can understand why it didn't. I can understand why it didn't work for you guys. You know. And I feel like, some of you always have this same conversation that, well, Sonic doesn't need to be dark. We don't play Sonic game for it to be needlessly dark. And I'm like, it wasn't needlessly dark. If you want to see needlessly dark, watch Power Slash Rangers and tell me if, in the context of the Power Rangers, does that shit all make sense? That was straight up dark for no reason. They tried to build it up like this is the this is when the Machine Empire basically takes over Angel Grove in this alternate timeline. And all the Power Rangers have like PTSD and stuff, but we never get to see it. All we see is freaking Tommy like blasting down the Rangers because of Rita Repulsa, and we don't get any real like character progression. It's just they got like Kimberly or any of the other Pink Rangers that replaced Kimberly, replaced Kimberly, and they're just kind of talking about what's happening while a bunch of freaking flashback footage is going on. I mean, it tried to be dark. It tried to be dark in the wrong ways. At least with Sonic, there was an actual effort because you know, like Setium always answered the question: what if Robotnik took over? What if the only thing that was standing in their way was Sonic and a ragtag bunch of freedom fighters? You know, they had all the elements, but they just didn't know how to really truly handle it. And that was the real. I would say that's the only flaw in the story I really could actually say, that they really didn't know how to handle it because we had a few newbie level designers that didn't really know what they were doing. We had a bunch of people that probably wasn't used to doing a darker story for Sonic. We had people that weren't really used to it. You know, like, but in the Japanese version, Sonic actually does show a little bit more emotion. Sonic even has a line saying, "Even though I'm scared, I'm still gonna keep on running." Kind of showing you that, yeah, Sonic is afraid. But I guess in the English version, it didn't really translate well. Because we gotta always have Sonic to be happy and joyous, and even in the most darkest times where shit happens to him, he's supposed to always stay that way. And I don't like that. I liked in the comics where he actually showed emotion. I liked it in Saturday M where he actually showed emotion because in the games he always wins. So we never get to see Sonic really in the game we never see Sonic really break down and really, give in to the hopelessness of the situation or at least for a minute so we actually get to see how he really is. The only thing that was close to really showing us how Sonic really is, that was Sonic Unleashed. We really got to see what made Sonic tick when he's not being, oh, cool, awesome, all this stuff the game Sonic is. We finally get to see who Sonic truly is. And you think it would carry on to other games, but it really doesn't. And maybe that's about Graph and Pontac, because I heard they were writing the story, and maybe we need. That's why we needed Ian Flynn to write this story. That's why we need some of the old writers from the comics to write this story. Because if there wasn't a, because if we could find anybody who could do that, it'd be Ian Flynn and the rest of the comic writers, because they know how to balance a serious story with little bits of jokes to add levity, but it really shows like how really dark and bleak the situation would have really been. And people say like, well, darkness doesn't belong in a Sonic game all the way. Let me. Okay, okay, you say that, but let's talk about Sonic CD. Okay, Sonic CD. Past is okay. The present is okay. But if you go to the future, what do you see? You see a desolate wasteland. Robotnik has really totally destroyed nature, and all that's like there is nothing left. Everything is mechanical. Everything is dark. Everything is dead. And even in certain soundtracks of the even in the either the American soundtrack or the Japanese soundtrack. Okay, the Japanese soundtrack is a lot more popular. The American soundtrack is a lot more. Well, this is a dark situation, so I mean, do you guys even hear Robotics laugh? That's the kind of shit that will haunt your dreams. Like, god dang, they knew how to do dark well. And even though you may have beaten the game, if you didn't get those time stones, oh shit, that means like Robotnik is still free. Robotnik is still free to basically fuck up the future. And really, when you think about it, isn't that the most darkest thing you could ever think of? Even though you, even though you went through the game, you beat Robotnik, none of it helps because at the end of the day, he'll still fuck up the future, and maybe you'll be in a time loop forever. Think about that shit. I know all I'm throwing is various things, but I feel like okay. Let me explain. Sonic. But let me talk about the dark stuff with Sonic. See, Sunny M was a cult classic, and yeah, it didn't have the numbers back then. But pulling from pulling from Star's ratings when it came to bringing back Sonic Sunny M. Let me take a look, guys. It's gonna be a minute. Stars, Sonic the Hedgehog, ratings. Okay, hold on. I want to see if they'll actually show the ratings for this. Now, Sonic the Hedgehog or Sonic AM has low ratings. But now we're going to take a look at Stars' ratings for Sonic the Hedgehog. If they show it. Now, guys, you know, and I see it doesn't really show you the ratings, but I remember someone showed me the ratings, and it was high because a lot of people really do still like Sat AM. You know, and people, you know, and the thing is, the way Sonic Forces got created was the fact that people, you know, um, people would send Sonic Team like artwork of all their fan created characters, and they decided, hey, let's make a game out of it. But they couldn't do it in the normal way, so they decided, hey, let's take a little something from Sunny M. I mean, that's American enough. Let's use it. See, but that's the thing, guys. That is the literal thing of this. Even if you diehard Sonic fans that don't know a thing about Sunny M wanted it, there was a group of other Sonic fans who did. I feel like a lot of you don't really understand that point. You try to act like No one's played Sonic stuff because no one's played Needlessly Dark Story. But listen, listen to what I'm trying to say before you have anything else to say. Before you say anything that comes to combat me or anything, there's a bunch of people. There's a bunch of people called if you go to Fuse, Fans United for Sat AM, there's a load of people who still love Sat AM to this very day. And there are people who still love the Archie comics, even though they're gone. Because we'll never forget all the good moments. We'll never forget moments like Scourge or Nagus or the time Sonic sacrificed himself for Mobius or any of those. Even when they did Sonic, when they did Mobius 25 years later, and Sonic came back to the future, where basically Shadow is taking over and freaking he's married to Sally. I mean, if it really played onto that notion of Sonic fighting against all odds, this was the greatest. This is the greatest story to actually convey that, even if most of you don't think so. And yeah, I won't lie and say that there isn't big problems in Mobius 25 years later, but but most of them are just nitpicks on my side. But yeah, Sonic has always had this kind of, you know, nature versus technology. And I feel like, in a sense, well, maybe not in forces, because really, it's not really Sonic fighting against technology. It's Sonic fighting against a Phantom Ruby. That Eggman just conveniently found. So I guess the real technology versus nature is kind of lost a little bit, sorta. But it still stands to realize that yeah, Sonic has always been kind of dark. But some of you just don't see it because some of you, Sonic doesn't need a story. Sonic just needs to run to point A and point B, and doesn't need one. And all of you don't play Sonic for that. But some of us do. And I feel like some of you Sonic fans need to acknowledge that instead of always trying to think that you know better than you know what all these Sonic fans want. Because all of you don't. All of you guys can do is just assume and hope that you actually know something about Sonic, but you don't. And I'm not saying I do, but I understand where Sonic Team was coming from when they made Forces. And the amount of references to Sonic SAM is there. Do it to it. There's like a bunch of there's a bunch of like Freedom Fighter references in the game and in the comics. So none of you can really tell me that this is not what they were thinking when they were making Sonic Forces. To appeal to those fans who haven't had a Sonic game in like forever. And the only thing that we actually had that we can call a SATM game, shockingly enough, was Sonic Spinball. Yeah, Sonic Spinball was the only SATM game. Even though I don't count it as such. That's what it is. But yeah, I can't really take into account for everything that's up with the gameplay, but for the story, I'll defend it. I will defend it because this is the only time Sonic Team was actually trying to give us Sonic SAM and Archie fans a bone for once in our lives. So I'll defend the story as long as I could. And yeah, point out stuff that was wrong with it. But that doesn't mean I hate the game. If anything, I hope they continue this. I hope they get into the groove of making a darker story, and then they can actually pull it off a little bit more efficiently than what they did. And also, I want Infinite to come back because I feel like if we fleshed him out a little bit more, he could be a really great villain or a great rival for Sonic this time. You know, I think he could be like a kind of rival to both Sonic and Shadow. But that's just me. I'm Bugsy, and I'm signing off. I'll see you all later. I hope you guys like this, and don't you worry. For those of you that wanted to see an Equius video, you will see it tomorrow. I just got up a little late, and then Equius, he was doing stuff. I can't really say what was going on, but yeah. See you guys later. Bugsy signing off.